G'day guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back for another episode of Space Survival. So at the end of the last episode I started building this here vertical miner and I've done quite a bit of work in between episodes. So as you can see, I've pretty much finished placing down all the armor blocks the same fashion as what I had kind of done last episode. So yeah, that actually took forever to do because it's actually a pretty complex shape. So yeah, that took me at least an hour. Oh, I just noticed there's a block there that shouldn't be. Let's get rid of that. Cool. Yeah, so the only thing I need to know now is, well, I don't really need to know how much it weighs now, I suppose, but once I get the drills on, I need to know how much it weighs because I need to know if these engines here are going to be enough. So I've got 16 of them in total, which should be able to lift about 640,000 kilos on the moon, which is primarily what I've designed this thing for. I haven't designed it for Earth because I think it's just going to use way too much fuel. Yeah, to stay in the air with that amount of weight, yeah, it's just going to use way too much fuel, I reckon. So if I was going to do something like that, I would use atmospheric thrusters. So yeah, maybe I might make a atmospheric version of this thing at some later stage, but we'll see how we go. Alright, so now I just need to put some drills on the top. I would also like to put a O2H2 generator. I don't think that would go astray by putting one of those on there. And the other thing I need to figure out as well is, so I might just place it there. Yeah, it seems like good a place as any. The other thing I need to figure out as well, I still haven't really decided whether or not I want the cockpit to be vertical or horizontal, but I think I'm leaning towards making it vertical, so yeah, we'll probably do that. I don't really know if I need the conveyor port. I guess I do for hydrogen for myself, don't I? Alright, so now that's done, let's maybe grab the resources for a cockpit. Actually, first what I need to do is put down some conveyors. So I'm going to put down some armored ones. I've been using these quite a lot on this build. I don't know if it's really necessary, but I just feel a little bit better knowing that it's at least armored. Alright, there we go. So I got my conveyors in. The only thing is, where would the cockpit sit? Would it be kind of centered? Or would it be like offset a little bit? I think it's gonna have to be like that, because when the character's sitting in the middle, he'd be like there. So I might have to put a conveyor junction here in the middle and then a armored conveyor there. Actually no, I don't. I just put a T junction there and flipped it over and then put a C junction there, or a corner junction. Alright, let's get these welded up and the cockpit placed down. Alright, well I've got my cockpit placed. Man, I'm really going to need to do some creative stuff to make this look good. It looks terrible at the moment, but you know, it's functional. So yeah, but the problem is I was kind of hoping that I'd get a reasonable accurate figure of how much this thing weighs, but apparently it weighs 1.84 million kilos, which is just ridiculous. So I don't think this thing actually weighs that much. I think it's when I sit in that cockpit, it weighs the entire grid. So basically my whole base, the two ships, and all this stuff too. So yeah, that kind of sucks. I really wanted to know how much this thing roughly weighed at least. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. Okay, so now I want to put in the drills. So I think I've got to use a contact frame, or what do they call it? Conversion frame or something? Conveyor converter, there we go. One of these. So I'm going to use one of these things. Now, one thing I was kind of thinking about is I might put a camera in the center, because I think it would be handy to do that. So let's get this welded up, and then I'm going to put a camera in the middle of that. Alright, so I've got my camera now. I've got to make sure it's lined up with the cockpit, so I'm going to put the little red light on the top. No, it needs to go like that. The red light is on the bottom, I think. Is it a red light or a green light? I can't remember. Oh, green light. Okay, yeah. So, put our camera there like that, and then we shall scatter the drills around it. Now, with the drills, I kind of want to make them, how would I say? I want to make the radius of the drills bigger than the radius of the ship, just so I have a little bit of leeway, because yeah, if I make the hole slightly bigger than the ship, then I can kind of tilt it a little bit and, you know, take a different path. Whereas if I kind of just leave it the way it is, then yeah, I can't really do that. So yeah, I'm not sure if that makes sense, but yeah, it kind of makes sense to me. Alright, so I need to put some conveyors here and over there as well. So I might put the conveyors down and then make a steel plate that kind of connects to this as well. Okay, so I've got some of my drills down, but this is actually proving to be quite a difficult task. So what I'm trying to do is make an even hole, but because of the shape of the drills, it's really hard, and where their conveyor ports are, it's really hard to kind of do that. So what I was thinking is putting some drills basically here. So one there, and then one here as well. And I'll do it on the other side too. Yeah, so something like that. And that's all well and good. It does that side of the ship fairly well. And then I was thinking here I'll just put another drill as well. So I don't know how many drills that is, but it's quite a bit. So we're looking pretty good on this side here. And everywhere here as well, I think, but we're lacking here, and I think I just don't know how close I'm going to be able to get a drill there. Maybe I can just run another drill off this here conveyor port here, so I might do that and see how it looks. I think it might stick out further than this one here, and maybe I've got to space that one out too. I don't know, it's just really complex. So, alright, let me put another drill on the end here and see what happens. Alright, well, this is the drill configuration as it stands now. Man, this thing is a bit of a monster. How many drills do we have? So we've got 4 there, another 3, so 7, 10, 12 drills. Wow. That's yeah, that's a fair amount of drills, but the good news is that I think it's going to drill a hole big enough for the ship to fit through, no problems there. But these ones that are outliers here, or yeah, they do kind of stick out further than these ones here, so I don't know if I can move those out one more, and I'm pretty sure this will dig a hole big enough for itself to fit through. I really hope that this gap here doesn't kind of change that. I don't think it will. I think it should be fine. And maybe in fact what I can do is like spread these drills out, but for the moment that's what it is. So yeah, because if I can right click drill a hole big enough and then have these drills spread out further, then maybe that's worth looking into. Maybe I don't need this many, but yeah, it's kind of hard to know. So alright, let me get these welded up and then figure out a way to actually get everything connected, because yeah, it's a bit flimsy at the moment. Alright, so I've been working on the design a little bit, and I've placed down these line of blocks here to kind of give it a little bit of strength, although it doesn't go all the way around because I think that would look just a little bit weird. So across here I've put these braces in. I've done the same on these 3 sides, but yeah, here there's a connector, so I don't know if this connector is even really going to be relevant, because especially on this ship here, because that bit right near the connector kind of sticks out, just here, this part here, I'm never really going to be able to use it. So I might even not be able to use that connector there. I might have to like space this out by 1 block. So I don't know if I want to keep it or get rid of it. So yeah, I got to figure out a design to kind of counteract, you know, look similar to that, but then flow into this connector, I guess. And then maybe we'll just have to have one spaced out on the ship, and we'll just have to live with that. Doesn't look pretty, but it'll work. So yeah, there's that. And then I just need to get these drills done, need to get the cockpit done, and I want to put in some batteries as well. I know I don't really need them, and actually, you know what, I could probably place them down now. So maybe we can place in some batteries here. Why won't it let me place one there? Oh, because of the tank. So maybe I can go ahead and place in critical something like 4 batteries. I don't really need a lot of them, because I'm not going to use any type of ion thrusters or anything like that. So cool. Alright, so I think that should be more than enough power, and then I can continue this design up to those batteries as well. Maybe leave the blocks clear so that I can see the charge status on them as well, because yeah, that's kind of handy to know. Alright, so I was still kind of working on this, and I decided not to, and yeah, kind of changed tactics to working on this. Actually, no, I think I did put the batteries down before, but I think what I'm going to do is move the batteries up. I know it's kind of a waste of resources, considering the fact that, yeah, you kind of lose the power cells or whatever, but in order to get over the cockpit, I've got to go 3 blocks up, and then I've got 1 block down here, so I may as well move the batteries up by 1 block, and then I don't think they'll hit the cockpit. No, actually this one might, so I might just have to run with 3 batteries. I think, honestly, for a ship that's hydrogen based, I think 3 is acceptable. And the other thing I can do is I can go ahead and swap these out for, if I grind that, are those blocks going to fall? Yeah, I do think they will. So let me just put a couple of blocks here to pin that down. Let's get rid of this. Now, as I was saying, I can use the warfare batteries. So I'm pretty sure there's a small grid version of them, and they probably look a little bit better than the standard old vanilla batteries too. So yeah, let's get rid of the old ones and put in the shiny new ones. Yeah, so here we go. Here's our warfare battery. So I'm going to place one here and in the same position on this side as well. The only problem and the only thing I don't like about these batteries is I wish they kind of had a meter on the front, or at least the back, or something like that, not just like one side, which is a little bit unfortunate. So it's going to be hard to see how much charge the ship actually has, but I don't know, I think we should be alright still. Alright, so I'll weld these up, and I might put like a ring of blocks around the base here, maybe thinner than the blocks that I put here. So maybe I'll just get rid of, like for example, these 2 blocks, and then change those out for like half blocks or something. So we'll put a block here and here and here, and then maybe I could even just put a 45-degree block there, and then maybe just some flat blocks here or something. Maybe like a 2x1 slope. So something like that, and then do the same on the other side, although I won't do it because I can't weld it up. So, and then yeah, extend these blocks up here, and then I'll have 2 of these beam blocks going up above there to something else. I don't know what I want to put behind that. Maybe an oxygen tank or something, and then just finish off the ship, and that'll be pretty much everything done as far as I can remember. Alright, so I've gone ahead, I've built my batteries, and I've built this little ring here. Although these blocks here don't really line up, so I might need to just grind these out and change them to 2x1 bases, but the same like kind of type of block, if that makes sense. It's a shame that there isn't one that is kind of like this block here. I really wish, or maybe we do just go for a block like that. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm just going to go for a block like that, because I think any other block in that position would look just a tiny touch weird. Alright, so we got our blocks in place. I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, the cockpit is pretty well hidden. I really just don't know. I did put these blocks here in front, but I really don't know what to put in front of those. I was thinking about maybe some small batteries, but yeah, it turns out small batteries don't really have a meter reading on them either. Also, what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've moved these blocks similar to that design there all the way down here, although I think I might change it because I want it to be a little bit stronger than what that is. Everything else up here is joined together pretty well, but I want to make this area here a little bit stronger. So what I was thinking is maybe putting in some of these beam blocks. So what we could do is put in maybe some of these. So just grab our regular beam blocks and place them in like that. Yeah, it's okay-ish, but it doesn't really look that great. Alright, let's maybe change these for maybe some... Yeah, I'm thinking maybe curving it a bit. So maybe we can go for some 45-degree ones. I'm not sure if I can put anything behind that though, because I'm pretty sure that space is occupied by the cargo container. Yeah, it looks okay-ish, but still not really my cup of tea. Alright, let's try one more thing. So maybe if we go for some of these. The only problem is there's going to be a gap. So there is a gap, but it does look good. Or unless, actually no, what we can do is put some of these little pieces critical in here. Yep. No, that is definitely the way that I want to go. I would actually do that throughout the entire ship, honestly, but these don't interfere with those thrusters there, so that is the only reason why I wouldn't do something like that all the way down. I might even change these blocks here to go straight down as well. Let's maybe do that and then see how that looks too. Well, I'm about to run out of power, but I decided just to change those two beam blocks. And I might even do that all the way around. Yeah, so alright, I'll be back once that is done. And we are done. Wow, that actually looks really, really good. I'm, yeah, extremely happy with how that turned out. The whole ship, in fact, looks pretty decent considering it's, yeah... I mean, it does have a little bit of a design flaw where all of this stuff here is exposed, but then again, so is this thing, so yeah, not really too much I can do about that. So, what next? What do I need to do next? Oh, I need to put a thruster there. There's one missing. So I've got my batteries. I have... Do I have an O2H2 generator? No, I put a conveyor converter there. So I have an O2H2 generator underneath here, that's right. Yeah, I do have one. So I've got power, I've got my fuel tanks, I've got my cockpit. The only thing I really need now is thrusters to go downwards, which, I mean, technically I could honestly place them here, but I'm not sure if I really want to do that. I could just place them on top. and I'm not going to really need a lot of them, because most of the time this thing's going to be in gravity, and you know, if I'm not sure how much it weighs, I'm going to say, like, you know, if it weighs maximum 640,000 kilos, then yeah, that's going to be enough to not really need any thrust in this direction. So yeah, I honestly don't think I'm going to need them. I would like to dress up these drills a little bit though. They do look a little bit ugly. Could I maybe put some blocks across? So I guess I could do something like that. That doesn't actually look too bad, although obviously this block here is kind of interfering with this one, so that doesn't really work too well. Although maybe I could trim it like that and just replace those with flat blocks. Now I would like to see how that actually looks. Oh, is the sun coming up? Yes, it is. Nice. So that means that all of our batteries and everything will be charging. So, alright, maybe here we'll put a flat beam block and there as well. And then from there, what do I have after that? I've got one of those blocks there. Okay, so we want another beam block, but a 2x1 base, like so. And then another one like so. And then the tips. Then from there we should be able to place these ones behind. If we can't place the tips, I don't think it's too much of a visual big deal, if that makes sense. It's only really when you can't place these base blocks that it looks really, really bad. And then wait, I chose the wrong block. We want this one. Alright, let's weld this up and see how it looks. Okay, so it's done, and I think that looks really good. It is a shame that we can't get this block here done.
Energy critical.
I don't know if I want to sacrifice that block or this block. That's a really hard choice. But I think overall it looks really good. I mean, for a mining ship that I've built in survival, it's yeah, it's turned out really good. We'll see how it performs though. Alright, cool. So yeah, wow man, this thing looks yeah, really good. It looks really robust. I really wish though I could place some sort of a support there. Yeah, I am very tempted to get rid of that connector and just leave the one connector on that side there. And maybe that's just what we got to deal with, just, you know, kind of one connector. But I mean, overall I'm really happy with how this thing has worked out. Now the only problem is that I've only been able to manage 2 spotlights here. Now I do know recently they added those blocks where there's like a light within the block, but I don't know if that's, yeah, so we've got an inset light. Now is there a small grid version of that? I don't think there is. Oh, there is. Fantastic. Okay, so that means that I can get rid of some of these armor blocks up here and put a light in there, although it does look like they're going to interfere with where the drills are. So I might, how am I going to put these in? What are these? These are half blocks, so I might have to drill that block out and replace that with an inset light. So the light would be maybe there. Should I do it? I think maybe I'll do it further out, so I'll do it like there. So I'll have one there, one there, one over there, and one over there. And we will go with that and see how we go. Alright, fantastic. So we've got our lights built. Man, honestly, I think that is the best thing about the last update, is these inset lights. I I think I've been asking for something like this for a very long time. What I would like to do though is fully increase their range and see what sort of light they actually give off. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've configured these lights. Let's see what it looks like now. So the spotlights obviously are working quite decently. Yeah, I can't really tell how well the lights are working though, but they do have a radius of like 20 meters, and I push the offset to 5 meters, so that should hopefully light up a fairly decent area. And I think I can go ahead and I can place some of these things throughout the hull in certain places. I'm not exactly sure where though, or maybe... Yeah, see, I might place some here, maybe. Just some, like, flickering lights so that I can see the thing. Actually, then again, I'm not really going to lose it, am I? Alright, so, now that the bottom portion is pretty much complete, with exception to this part here where the connector is, the only real thing to do is kind of finish this top section here. And once I've done that, then I guess we can kind of test it out. I think one thing I would really like to do is actually test it out in, what would I say, creative mode, because I am really concerned that it's going to be too heavy for these amount of thrusters, or I'm concerned as well that maybe it doesn't have enough fuel. So if it doesn't have enough fuel, or if there's not enough thrusters, then we can add another tank up here and, we can kind of deal with the problem. But I need to kind of figure that out before I, take this out into the world. Alright, well, I have pretty much finished the cockpit area. I've got a few little blocks to go here, so yeah, just finish welding those up, and yeah, that's everything pretty much done. I've gone for, well, I did change this area a bit. I put the beam blocks in. We've got this little bit here. I continued that design up here, and then I decided to put some beam blocks here that kind of go across from the cockpit. Yeah, I kind of tapered these blocks in a little bit. Maybe I'll do the same for these ones here. Not sure. Can I actually do that? I think I should be able to do that. So yeah, I'll taper those blocks in a little bit. I think there is a block to do that, maybe one of these blocks, or yeah, something like that. We can do that. Yeah, doesn't look too bad, and tapers it a little bit more, gives it a little bit more of a shape. So I guess the only thing I need to do now is put some thrusters on the back of it and just kind of test it out. So I'm not really going to put too much effort into the design on the back until I figure out it actually works, but I would like the rear of it to be about the same width as that, just to make everything kind of balance out the design, or just to kind of balance out the design a little bit. Alright, well, I decided to spawn the mining ship in a little creative world just to kind of test it out, and yeah, it actually works out really, really good. So I think I mentioned before that this, with all these engines, these hydrogen thrusters here, it should have been able to lift about 640,000 kilos, but if I'm not mistaken, it only weighs about, yeah, 326,000 kilos, and it is absolutely full to the brim. So I'm not sure how much we get out of that. So we've got 80,000 there, and then I believe there was 12 drills. So 12 drills filled with 9,000. So, what's that? Nearly 200,000 ore. I think that's pretty good. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that performs. Also, as you can see, the hull is actually quite big as well. So I'm going to move the ship over. So it's a little bit weird being in this configuration. It really is. But it does make it a lot easier to kind of line the thing up. So yeah, as you can see, the hole is quite deep. The only problem is that I don't know if I'm dead level or not. So yeah, that is a bit of an issue. I think what I'm going to do to kind of combat that is down here at the front, I'm going to try and put an LCD in front of that camera with one of those, the thing they have in the military jets where it shows you the horizon and all that sort of stuff. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. And then also, testing this thing, when it comes to fuel consumption, it's actually pretty good. So I let it sit here for about I let it sit here and go through about 25% of the fuel. That took about 8 minutes. So you times that by 4, works out to about 32 minutes worth of flight time when it's completely full. I believe when it's empty, it's only about 120,000 kilos. So, you know, it's 200,000 kilos lighter most of the time when you're drilling down there. So it's probably going to even last twice as long as that. So, yeah, overall, I'm really happy with how the thing has turned out. So I did have 4 gyroscopes on here, but we're going to need some more because it is really hard to turn. As you can see, it just does not want to turn at all. So I might just play around with the gyroscopes now, actually. Let's see if I can find them. Alright, there we go. So now we have 8 gyros, and we also have a missing engine. Do I have that on my hotbar? Oh, man. This is a problem. This is why I try and make my hotbar the same in every save, but sometimes that's just not possible. Yeah, that is so much better. I don't know if that's like maybe too much though. Maybe I only need less than that. Oh, maybe I only need like 6 or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so I'm going to head back into survival. I'm going to figure out what to do on the back end of this thing. I do need some thrusters to go down, although I'm probably just going to use 2 little ion thrusters because gravity is always going to be pulling us down anyway. So yeah, the only time I think that would actually be needed is if I use like autopilot or something. So yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys back in survival. Okay, so back in survival. I think I am going to bite the bullet though and get rid of this connector because I just don't think it's really necessary. Yeah, and I'll just put another thruster there instead. In fact, no, that's a large port, so what would I do to put a thruster there? I would need to put in a conveyor frame, but I don't know if I really want to do that either because it's going to look pretty bad. Actually, can you see it? Not really. Can't really see it under those blocks. That's alright, I'll just leave it like that. And I'll put a thruster in the middle and then the exact same blocks that go on this here, there. So yeah, it'll essentially just look the exact same as that. Alright, cool. So that's all the thrusters done. All those blocks around there. Oh, actually no. I need to put in these little tips here on the corner, but I might do that in a minute. Yeah, so like that. But what I do want to do is put in the corner blocks here. So actually, I need to get rid of that block. Replace it with one of those. Grab some beam blocks and put them down. And I think it was just the 45-degree ones, if I am not mistaken. Man, I really hope I've got the right color chosen. I think I do. I don't know if I really want to color this thing myself because I'm not really too great with coloring, so yeah, maybe I might get the community involved in that somehow. Don't hold me to that though, because I'm not sure if I have the time to organize something like that. But if I do, I most certainly will. Alright, put our last block down, get this welded up, and then I think I'm going to work on the LCD. So, is there a small grid transparent LCD? Yes, there is. Well, let's grab a few of those then. We only really need one, but that's fine. Now, which way is the cockpit going? I think it's that way, so that is technically the top of the ship, if that makes any kind of sense. Now, which way does the LCD go? Let's try and find it on the hotbar first. Right, here we go. So we've got our LCD, and I really don't know which way it needs to go. guess let's just place it there and see what happens. Alright, so... no, it's upside down. Alright, I think that should be the right way up. So when we look through the camera, we should see online. Let's just check that that is the case. Can I actually view through this camera? Yep, there we go. And then let's find our transparent LCD. And content, script, artificial horizon. That's what it's called. Fantastic. Background will be transparent. Or will it? Yeah, it needs to be, doesn't it? Now I need to make the text really bright somehow, like really stand out against the moon. So maybe we'll go for like a green. Can I actually control the ship while I'm viewing the camera? Doesn't look like I can. Oh yeah, of course, it's locked down. What am I doing? I thought I was in my creative world still. Oh man, I'm losing it, I'll tell you guys. Alright, so let's now place in our gyroscopes. So I said I think I'm going to go for 6. Maybe I'll put 2 here, 1, 2 there, and then another 1 there and on the opposite side. I don't know actually really where I want to put them. I do kind of want to make them visible though. Alright, there we go. So we got our gyroscopes. I ended up just putting 8 there because I didn't like the fact that it wouldn't look even. So yeah, I ended up just putting 8 in there. And yeah, it actually looks really good. I'm really happy with the design and the way that it functions too. Now I just got to finish off this top bit here. I'm just trying to think if there is anything else I need to do. I mean, apart from obviously setting up the hotbar. So I've gotten rid of the connector, I've done that bit there, I've done the camera, I've done the LCD in front of it, done the gyroscopes. Just need some engines going that way. I might actually put a big engine there and then just disable it most of the time, just for looks. But I don't know. Yeah, I might actually put some of these new conveyor port covers on here too. So do we have the small ones? Or is it only the ones for the large? Oh, it's only these large ones. Oh, that's a shame. Really wish there was a conveyor cover for that. That would be awesome. But I think I can use these blocks instead. So I can just use something like that. I don't know if that's what I want to do though. Or maybe I could use one that's like 2 blocks tall. Okay, so I did come up with a little bit of a design. I'm not sure if I really like it or not. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below. I might actually put one of those there, maybe, or maybe just a corner block with the stripes on it, because then it kind of covers this armored conveyor. Well, then again, it doesn't really matter. I'm being too pedantic about the design of this thing and making it look good. Alright, I'm finally going to go away and try and figure out what to do here. I think I would like to have another set of thrusters up here somewhere. Maybe I could go for
Energy low.
a similar pod design style here, but maybe make it 2 blocks wide and have 2 thrusters there. Yeah, and just kind of extend that design out there a little bit. So yeah, let's see how we go. Alright, well I thought I'd get this last bit on camera because, yeah, you know, just before we round out the episode. So what I'm going to do is probably copy this design here, but then like lengthen it by 1 block. So instead of there being 1 thruster here, there's going to be 2. So first we'll start off with that block there. Then I've got to put in my tips. Place another one over here. And then, yeah, so it's one of these blocks here. Wait, where is it? There we go, this one. So place this one in, like there, and this orientation business sometimes just doesn't work out. One of those, and then put 2 of these in this time rather than just 1. So 2, and then just repeat the same design that I've got there, and then just go up to that point. And then I'll discuss what I think I'm going to do next. Do I put another bar across? Yeah, I think I will. Okay, alright, let me finish up this part. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of get the design process on camera, because I think that is one of the most interesting things about building ships, is making decisions about what blocks you're going to place where and making it actually look good. Well, at least for me it is anyway. Okay, well, here's how we're looking so far. So yeah, I did end up going for the 2-block design. I actually went and decided not to go the 2-block design and go 1 block like what I did down there. But then after that, I put down a survival kit right behind the cockpit, because that, if you have a look at the survival kit, it has some conveyor ports there that line up exactly with the ones that sit on the back of the cockpit. And then from there I can just put on this, yeah, large hydrogen thruster, the industrial one. So yeah, just put that straight on the little conveyor port. Oh, I realized I missed these blocks. Man, I'll tell you what, these blocks, they take just so long to place down. Yeah, it's just a crazy amount of time, and doing that twice was just, yeah, a pain. But the time you take to make things look pretty, right? And then I've also just put these cylindrical columns here to kind of block the view a little bit, because yeah, I don't know, I think it's just a little bit weird being able to view that stuff all the time. Or maybe I can do the same as what I did down here and just put some of those beam blocks in. Maybe I'll do that instead. Yeah, maybe that's an idea. And I think also what I'm going to do here is put in some beam blocks. And then the plan is as well is to have some small thrusters here at the back as well. Look, I know it doesn't need it, but it looks cool, so it has to have it, alright? It just has to. So I'm thinking I might place the thrusters about there. And maybe if I'm feeling cheeky enough, I might even place some here as well and just make it stupid but look cool. Yeah, decisions. Did I mention I was going to place some beam blocks along here like what I've done there? Well, if I haven't, now I have. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, do that, get all this stuff welded up, and then we'll figure out the pipe work for these thrusters. It's going to be complicated to say the least, and I'm going to need to find a way to protect it and make it look cool at the same time. So that is going to be challenging. Ooh, we're getting pretty close, guys. I can start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Not that I haven't had fun building this ship, but yeah. So this is what we've got at the moment. Everything is kind of finished. I didn't end up replacing those blocks, but I think I will at a later stage. Actually, maybe I should grind them out now while I've got the opportunity to get to them from the top. So yeah, let's just get rid of them, I suppose, and then we can change them to beam blocks. Now, I'll get rid of these, and then I want to deal with the rear thrusters. And I think I found a golden opportunity on where to put those other thrusters. So I think putting them here will look pretty cool, because you know, you have this kind of engine housing that, yeah, kind of sits there. So yeah, I reckon that would look pretty cool. Now, there's a couple of ways I think I can kind of get this to work. So I guess I could kind of just go straight across here. Let me place a block here, and then it'll probably be a bit easier to place this one in. Yeah, there we go. So I could just go straight across like that. Actually, which block do I have? that meets these two up? That's a good question. Yeah, this block here. Man, that took me an embarrassing amount of time to find. And then possibly we could just go across here with these blocks, or maybe even just put this block in here and then leave the other block missing. So we could do something like that. Looks kind of cool. Or we could go for the beam blocks again, but I don't know if I want to. One thing I do want to do though is sort out these conveyors, because I think we're kind of running pretty far into this episode and I want to really get this thing done. In between episodes I can kind of work on it, but we'll actually know I've got to start recording that episode pretty much immediately after I finish this one. Alright, so we have our exposed conveyors, which isn't really that cool, but that's alright. I think we should be fine. Alright, now I want to put in my thrusters here. I think I can place them in sideways, and they have mounting points on the sides. Pretty sure. Oh no, these ones don't. Alright, so I might place just a conveyor, small conveyor here, and another one there, and then just do the same all the way around and put in the thrusters here as well. Alright, so I've placed all the conveyors in. I think I am going to go with this armor design. I think honestly there is enough of this stuff here around these beam blocks. So yeah, maybe we'll break it up a little bit. I can always break it up more by changing the color. So, you know, for example, we could, you know, maybe change the color of these pods here to be orange, and then the rest, you know, black, and then these things like a gray. You know, there's so many different possibilities, but what I do want to do now is put in some more conveyor junctions. So I'm going to place in a pipe from here, because I want that to be kind of visible. So we'll go for our, what is it, a small curved conveyor tube. Yeah, so we'll go that orientation. We'll place them all the way around. Alright, so all of our tubes are down. Now what I'm going to do is put down some armoured T-junctions. Not sure why. Okay, I don't know if you can even see thrusters behind. Is that the right way? No, it isn't. It needs to go that way. Alright. I've got to make sure I place this thing correctly. And there we go. Fantastic. Now all we need to do is put in our thrusters, and we are pretty much done. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to place a I'm going to place an item on the hotbar that just disables all of these thrusters here at the top, because I only think they will really be necessary in space. I think that's the only time I'm ever going to use them. Other than that, I'm probably just going to rely on gravity to accelerate the ship towards the planet, or moon, I guess, that I'm on at the time. Alright, well, I think she's complete. All it really needs is an antenna. I ran out of iron, so I'm not going to bother doing anything about that right now. We'll sort that out in the next episode. Maybe we might even... nah, I can't use this. Yeah, so overall I think it's looking pretty good. I did experiment down here. I noticed before that the caps were actually in this menu here. So there they are there. So I did test them out on this side. Such poor timing. As I was saying, I did test them out on this side, so I'm not sure which one looks better. But let me know what you guys think. Do you like this side with all the caps, or do you like this side with all the stripes? I'm honestly leaning towards the caps myself, but yeah. I guess we've got to put some lighting on this thing, and there are a few other bits and pieces I need to finish up. But I'll do all that off camera, and I think, yeah, next episode there should be no reason why we can't take this thing out and yeah, give it a test run on the moon. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the episode. Yeah, it was quite fun building this ship, and I hope to see you next time. Alright guys, I'll see you then.